Good evening, I'm back. I'm your host, Jack Remington, of the Jack Remington Political Analyst channel. Today's video, the scoop of our country's history, that leak that got to Politico, that has the draft, unfinished draft, with no dissent, by the way, of the possible overturning of Roe v. Wade, which was passed in 1973 by the then Supreme Court. It's about a woman's right to choose to have an abortion. A video I just cannot believe I'm making. It's against all my standards, but this must be made. Okay, what does all this mean? Well, the women are in uproar. I talked to my wife, and I'm sure my two daughters are in lockstep with that. They were all set to either just not vote for the midterms, or they were, going to vote Republican. Well, now they're all going to vote Democrat, for sure, because they're blaming the Republicans for this. Okay, they're blaming Donald Trump, like Chuck Schumer said in his statement. And they're blaming Amy Coney Barrett and Justice Kavanaugh for lying to the Supreme Court nomination process to the Senate that they had no intentions of ever overturning Roe v. Wade. But Kavanaugh did tell Susan Collins, a senator from Maine, he said, well, we may have to revisit it, but there's nothing on our desk right now, so it's almost a moot point. I got to give Kavanaugh some credit for that only, because at least he was astute enough and smart enough to put that in there. And now Susan Collins came out with a statement this morning saying how he lied to her. She put the entire Kavanaugh talking point in her conversation, which I think exonerates Justice Kavanaugh, only on that point. Okay, he's still a turncoat bastard, and I wish I never supported him, and I didn't want him, I want him off the Supreme Court no matter what. Okay, I have turned on both Amy Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh because of the 2020 election debacle. Needed one more justice, and they thought had one of them was going to help the election out, help Donald Trump out. They didn't do it. Okay, they stabbed Donald Trump in the back. I'll put that for last. What this leak does, it got the Democrat Party re-energized. It got people that were not going to vote because they knew the Democrats would get their asses kicked in the midterms of 2022. Now, as the CNN headline shows here, they've done effective the midterms now. They finally found a silver bullet to stop the bleeding. Okay, well, I should say the silver tourniquet to stop the bleeding, because they were going to get their asses kicked in November. This Joe Biden has been a complete disaster, the worst president in their history. And everybody, even the Democrats, agree with this. Okay, the Afghanistan debacle, inflation, $6-7 a gallon gas, the war in Ukraine's not helping any either. And now he's talking about putting troops in Ukraine. Okay, now Donald Trump got us all out of these endless wars and everything, and the military industrial complex turned on him, and some Americans turned on him too. But they said, well, okay, well maybe Trump's not that bad of a guy. He did want to stop the endless wars, and some people actually like that part of him. But what happened then? Well, he got rid of Donald Trump. He got rid of his policies, and now Joe Biden wants to get rid of his other policy, Title 42, the Remain in Mexico policy. This is bad for America. But guess what? With one leak, some clerk from the Supreme Court leaked this to Politico. Well, it's going to save the day for him, isn't it? Because Americans are too stupid to think for themselves. They got to have the mainstream media telling you orange man bad. But, we like transgenders, so, let's go ahead and help them out. Anything to destroy. They've attacked every institution of this country. They've attacked Donald Trump the day he stepped down the escalator, June 15th, 2015, when he announced his candidacy for president. They attacked him that day, and they're still attacking him, except for today. He's not that much in the news. They kind of put him on the second page now, okay? And Elon Musk is now on the third page, okay? But they're attacking the Supreme Court. Every news feed, every news feed I get in the thing, the Supreme Court did this, Supreme Court did that. Chuck Schumer said this, and Nancy Pelosi said that. Now they're the heroes again. With one leak, illegal leak from the Supreme Court, who's bound by confidentiality, of course. All courts are. You can't call up the court and say, hey, what happened to this case with the guy raped that woman? You can't tell you. It's privacy. We're supposed to be a nation of laws and had your privacy. Like HIPAA, your medical records were protected by privacy. But, oh, no, not this leak from the Supreme Court. And they're talking about overturning Roe v. Wade. These women, they want that right to abort their baby. Well, that's what, I'm not discussing the issue itself. I'm discussing the leak and what they are hoping to happen to get people motivated, like COVID-19 got people motivated, scared the bejesus out of people. Oh, we got to wear the mask. We got to get the shot. If you don't get the shot, we're going to fire your ass. Okay, and don't think I forgot how they treated fellow Americans. A policeman in Phoenix, Arizona. He worked with a YouTuber. who used to be a Phoenix police officer. And he was there for 22 years as a police officer. Spotless record. A good cop. But because he wouldn't get the job, they were going to fire his ass. They were going to fire him because these 5 women on a board of supervisors for Maricopa County, it's all 5 women, and they all 5-0 voted, you must get the vaccine. And this is in red state Arizona. Okay, these Marxists infiltrated every level of government in every state, including our red states, including Wyoming. There's some communists and Marxists in Wyoming, especially Teton County in western Wyoming. They can't understand why the rest of Wyoming is so red. But that's changing too. Why? Because women want that right to abort their baby. Even women that can no longer have children, they want that right. They just want it. And it was settled law. Why are they bringing this up? Because it works. Okay, it's divided the country again, and it saved the Democrats from a severe slacking in November. The Democrats knew they were going to. They stood to lose almost 100, possibly 100 seats in the House of Representatives this coming November. Now they might not lose them now at all. They might even gain a seat or 2 now. Okay, they were going to lose 7 seats in the Senate, which was huge. Okay, now they might even gain a seat and have a complete sweeping majority from 2022 to 2024. So if that's the case, you can just kiss your ass goodbye, because Joe Biden's that'll give him 2 more years to really destroy this country. Okay, and that's what they're trying to do. So now I want to talk about Politico for a second. Okay, Politico is a Pulitzer Prize organization. I forgot what they won the Pulitzer Prize for. It doesn't matter. Okay, but now I guess the Pulitzer Prize doesn't mean anything anymore, because they also had the Hunter Biden laptop story that they sat on. Because, well, we didn't really need to do anything with that. No, they didn't, because they were in a tank with the Democrat Party, which is the Marxist party of the country. Okay, they needed Joe Biden to win. They needed to get rid of Donald Trump. Why? Why do they need to get rid of Donald Trump so bad? And I keep saying it on video after video after video, and people don't get it. Donald Trump stopped the drunken sailor spending spree, just getting off the ship. Okay, you want to talk about getting broads with their cash full of money and being in the sea for 6 months? Believe me. That's what the Democrat Party does. They tax and spend, tax and spend. Now Joe Biden's trying to get a $3.3 trillion tax increase that his staff is working on. Okay, that you and I got to pay for all this shit. The COVID-19 money, that $10 trillion that they tried to pass, they got down to $1.8 trillion. Well, only 9% of them went for COVID-19 relief. Where did the rest of the money go? No one. Well, I know where it went. It went right into their relatives and their friends, contractors' pockets, and their own pockets. Okay, they're not there for you, folks. On both sides, they're not there for you. They're there for themselves first and foremost, or they wouldn't even run for office. My party, the American Meritocracy Party, you cannot be a millionaire with assets over $2 million. Okay, because your home is going to be worth $1 million. The party would account for that. But you can't be Dianne Feinstein worth $300 million or more. Okay, you can't be Nancy Pelosi with her husband's wineries in Napa Valley. They're worth $1 billion. They're billionaires. They run for Congress to become millionaires and billionaires. They want to make as much money as they can off your dime, off the taxpayers' back. The taxpayers keep running on that hamster wheel, turning out the wealth, turning out the taxes to fund for these parasites like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who never made a nickel on their own. Okay, they got paid by us, the taxpayers, and you better keep paying it, or else, or they'll cancel you. Okay, they're doing it by the end of a fiat of a gun. Okay, that's how they're making their money. Okay, Politico, back to Politico. Okay, they sat on this Hunter Biden story. Okay, just like everybody else did, because they needed Joe Biden to win. They needed to get rid of Donald Trump. It wasn't that they really were for Joe Biden. Okay, he was mostly inept all his 47 years in government. And he was, mostly inept, and even Barack Obama said, never underestimate the ability of Joe Biden to screw things up, and that's not the word he used. So, and I even use that with my thumbnails in my other videos. And it's true, and no one disputes that. Joe Biden is just, he's the Alzheimer's poster boy and centerfold if you stand and look at one. So, but Politico, they sat on this story. Okay, but this one here, this leak here, they couldn't wait to get it out there. Okay, because they knew the Democrats were going to get their asses kicked. So, and if it wasn't this, it would have been something else. And it would have been closer to the midterms. I had a video that I still got in the queue line here, that they were going to bring COVID-19 back if necessary. They still may yet do that if the polls don't improve. Okay, they're going to find some way to scare people, or get the ballot harvesting, mail-in ballots, no curing, give you 3 extra days after the election's over. All that shit. The state legislatures that switched to voting rules in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada. Nevada's a blue state, by the way, but they couldn't leave it to chance. Joe Biden needed every state, and he did, didn't he? So, and Georgia too. change the election laws, which was illegal. Okay, and that's what Ted Cruz and Mark Levin, that's what they talk about when they're saying, yes, the election was stolen. They changed the rules of the voting illegally. The Constitution says that they cannot do that. Okay, they can only be passed by the state legislatures. The secretaries of states can't change the laws at the last minute to help another candidate. And almost all these secretaries of states were Republican, by the way. And the lady in Pennsylvania, she abruptly resigned with no notice because she knew she was next on the hot seat. Okay, she was afraid Donald Trump wasn't going to bring in the military and confiscate the machines. So she said, well, I think I better retire. She has military in her family, and I guess I'm just guessing that they advise her, you better quit. Last name was Kokovar. Okay, extreme rhino Marxist. Okay, and she'll get her due someday. But this video is about the abortion issue. What does this draft mean? Well, 5 of the justices, Justice Thomas, Justice Kavanaugh, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, Justice Alito, and Justice Gorsuch, are trying to think they're going through the points of how Roe v. Wade passed in 1973. Nowhere in there does it say that we're going to stop all abortions. Okay, so these women and these Marxists and these protesters they're knee-jerk reacting like the spoiled brat, dumbass 5 brain cell voters that they are. Okay, like I want to repeat that: 5 brain cells, dumbass voters. Okay, that's what the Democrat Party counts on, and most Americans are stupid. Okay, the education system sucks in this country, and you can see that. And they're letting anybody into the higher education, and the more minority you are, the more they find ways to get you in, because that's part of the plan. That's the Marxist plan, and I'll talk about that later. Okay, but this Chuck Schumer was very clever with his little speech, wasn't he? He made sure he invoked Trump in there, and he somehow got Trump linked in there and blamed all this. Although he's not going to tell you that. And every time Donald Trump was asked on 60 Minutes and everywhere else, he said, "Well, Roe v. Wade is set a law. We have no reason to even discuss that." I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what he said. And if I can find the clip later in the next video, I'll put that up there. I'm trying to get away from using other people's clips. I want to stand on my own. That's what I'm doing here. So I got to make this a short video. It's already like 15 minutes. I got to cut some of this out to make it shorter. So I'm here to tell you, this was not done to protect your abortion rights. You're still going to be able to get an abortion. You may have to go to a blue state to get it. I mean, if you're in Alabama, you may have to drive to Maryland, my birth state, to get it, or Virginia. You may have to go to Washington, D.C. to get it. You may have to drive out to New Mexico or California to get it. So you got to spend a few $100 on a Greyhound bus for a few days, but you'll be able to get your abortion. That's not what they're doing here. Okay, what they're trying to do is see if we can get rid of it on the federal level and get the federal government out of it and leave it to be a state issue. States' rights. We are the United States, and each state is different, and that's by design. That's okay. And so, you can vote with your feet. You don't like the rules of a certain state. My daughter, they were looking to go relocate to Texas. But when they found out about the strict abortion law, even though the daughter can't have any more kids, she decided, well, I don't live in a state like that. So that she voted for her feet. She's staying in California. It suits her. Her and her husband are both Marxists as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not trying to insult them. I know my son-in-law, he'll watch this video. I'm not insulting them. I'm just telling them, I'm telling them the way it is. They're Marxists without realizing what they are. They vote Democrat. And when you vote Democrat, you're voting for the Marxists. So I'm going to close this video out by saying that this was not done to help women out. It's not done to even expose the Supreme Court. It's not even done to expose Republicans' hypocrisy, the rhinos, Amy and Coney Barrett or Justice Kavanaugh. They are rhinos, okay? Donald Trump got tricked by McConnell. They were McConnell's suggestions to put them on the Supreme Court. And when every chance McConnell gets, he stabs Donald Trump in the back, and he wanted Donald Trump gone too, okay? Because McConnell is from Kentucky. It's a poor state. So he needs money for his state, and Donald Trump was in the way. Okay, but he became the president. There wasn't much he could do, and he was the majority leader. But things up so bad that he became the minority leader, and he has even less power. Now, Chuck Schumer is the majority leader. But this is really important, because if they can salvage the Senate, if the Democrats can salvage, it's probably what they're even doing. They've probably given up on the House, because several of the House people said they're not even going to try to run in 2022, although this may change their mind, though. And they would win. The Democrats will win. Okay, just because it's one issue. The smoking silver gun, silver bullet, or silver tourniquet, I should call it. Okay, stop the bleeding of the Democrat hemorrhaging. If they can gain in the Senate, then it's over. It's game over. Then they'll control the White House and the Senate, and that's it. It doesn't matter what the House is going to do all about. The House can draft bills and get things going and get it approved by the Senate, but still, if they get the Senate, it's over. So the Senate creates the laws, okay, especially the tax laws. So, and now Joe Biden, he was even talking about getting the student debt. Some of them pay. I mean, they're looking for something, anything, and this person leaks it. So this person, I want to talk about the Supreme Court just for one more time. I'm going to add a couple things here. Supreme Court, this Justice Roberts. Well, I'm going to get the Grand Marshal and investigator from the Supreme Court. And they have their own law enforcement system, which I think is kind of toothless. I've never heard of the Supreme Court arresting anybody, but I guess they can have in certain instances. And this is a confidentiality leak. I guess they can arrest this law clerk, and I'm assuming it's a female. And people are saying in the chats, oh, Ketanji Brown Jackson. No, she hasn't even started serving her term yet. So I don't think she has anything to do with this, because Justice Breyer serving his term, and I believe it ends July 8th, the first or second week of July. Then Ketanji Brown Jackson she'll be sworn in again by the Supreme Court to work for the Supreme Court. See, she was going through a Senate confirmation hearing when she was sworn in before. They're going to swear in again. It's a 2-day, or it might even be a 3-day orientation that she has to go through. She can't do anything for that week, okay? They'll do the swearing in on a Sunday or Monday, and then she'll spend the rest of the week getting acclimated, and she'll be taking over Justice Breyer's chambers, the clerks, the libraries, everything that's entitled, do some output. And a lot of it's Zoom now because of COVID-19, but still, they still got to have their libraries. They still have to have their documentation and their press release and their media station. All Supreme Court justices get something similar to that. Here's the thing. They know who leaked this already. I'm telling you, they already know. And the left is going to make this person, I think it's a female, is going to make this person a hero. Okay? That's why it's going to be a female. You say this video. The leaker is going to be a female, and the FBI, all we did is we found out some things too. Well, it was a little too late. They're going to make this look good. They're going to get political capital out of this, political stroke, political gain out of this. Okay? The CIA might even say something. The NSA may say something. Nancy Pelosi may say something. They're all, I knew about this too. I found out, No, they didn't find out. They already know who did this. Okay? They already know who did this. And it was done intentionally, and it was discussed probably a week in advance, because the Democrats' polling numbers were at a record low. Okay, we got a president hovering at the low 20s and the vice president at 12%. That's got to turn around. Well, now they've turned it around. Now, Rasmussen and Luntz and the other pollsters I subscribe to, I get this online boarding feeding thing here, and it's got many discussions, and it puts it to a formula. Okay, they got 8% jump with Joe Biden's State of the Union speech, although he lied. We're going to fund the police. Well, he's a freaking liar. He has no intention of funding the police. He can't do that. Okay, that's a state and local issue. Okay. But people liked what he said, so they got. I said he could get a 5% jump. He got an 8% jump on most polls. Okay, but now it got back down again. Okay, gas is still high, everything else. Okay, but this thing here, the Democrats just overnight. It's not even been 24 hours. They got an 18% jump in most districts, in most polling areas in the country. So this worked. Okay, so. Here I was thinking, hoping that, we can get those Democrats out of office and at least get the Senate turned around. Well, the Democrats found they found the silver tourniquet to stop the bleeding, and then they turned right around and loaded the silver gun, and shot the Republicans. They shot Lincoln in the head one more time. That's what they did. Save this video. This person, this leaker, and I'm telling you, it's a female. This person will be they're going to make her a hero. She'll be on Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. She'll be on Good Morning America. She'll be on with Gayle King. Oh, how great. You did a great thing. You stopped these Republicans from getting in women's reproductive rights, blah, blah, blah. And it would be the total sham. Another sham, another fallacy in this country that keeps perpetrated by the Marxists by design, because most Americans are freaking dumbasses. They can't think for themselves. They need the mainstream media to tell my son-in-law, Orange Man, bad. You know what he said about Joe Biden and about the Ukraine scandal a couple years ago? He goes, Donald Trump made that phone call. He goes, impeach them both. He hates Trump so bad because the mainstream media told him that Donald Trump's got to go, right? So he knew Joe Biden committed a crime. Well, impeach them both. Donald Trump made the perfect phone call. Hey, before I send this $6 billion to Ukraine, this was, remember, Trump was in office when this happened, okay? What happened with this thing about Joe Biden got the guy fired to keep his son from being investigated? What happened with that? And they impeached him for that. They impeached him. He can't do that because Joe Biden was a presumptive nominee for the Democrat Party for the upcoming election. You can't eliminate it. And Donald Trump wasn't trying to eliminate him. Donald Trump thought he was a shoo-in for a re-election. And I told people in other videos that he was going to lose. And he lost, didn't he? That's because I know the pulse of the country, and I know the pulse of the country right now. And most Americans are stupid. You got to have the mainstream media to tell you what to believe, tell you what to think, tell you who to like, tell you who to hate. Orange man bad. Joe Biden, he's just a poor old Uncle Joe from Scranton. He's a moderate. He won't do anything to hurt this country. Well, how do you like it now? How do you like it now? Okay, so stay with us. Keep up the good fight. Thank you. Always great day to be American. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.